Hey everyone, it's Nicole with Easy Organized Life, and I wanted to put together my chronic illness planner with you today. I spent the last, I think it's 7+ years dealing with undiagnosed health issues, such crazy symptoms. I know I'm not alone in this. And through that, I have put together a planner for what I think would have been helpful to me while I was going through this. Now that I'm feeling better, I actually have the bandwidth to put this together. And I had versions of this just like handwritten and created, but man, this would have been super helpful. And if I ever go into a flare, it's going to be super helpful. Also, this is going to be like my home base, and I will explain how I'm going to use some of these things. Because even though I'm feeling better, I still have chronic illness and still need to manage a lot. So let's go ahead and dig into what I've got here. I chose an 8.5 by 11 size. I had kind of gone through if I wanted to do an 8.5 by 11, like a letter size, or an A5, which is like 8.5 by 5.5 or 5.25. I think it's 5.5. The A5 was a little bit too small for what I needed to do. So let's just go through this really quick first, and then I'll explain why I chose the 8.5 by 11. But we've got the title page, and I've got a little welcome page for you. And then I created a symptom and pain chart for, oh, that's some Freddie floof flying through the air. One of the things that I found very difficult when I would go to the doctor was charting my symptom and pain chart when they would ask, like, how severe is this? By the end of it, I found out that, or I realized that it was very helpful to figure this stuff out when I was feeling okay. When I was at the doctor's, there was obviously anxiety. I might have not been feeling well. We were trying, I was fighting and advocating for myself. And then this feels like such a subjective situation. Even when they list things out, I didn't really resonate with what the doctors had listed out was 1 through 10. And so I created my own chart, and it really depends on which doctor I'm talking to. Like if I'm talking to my physical therapist and my occupational therapist versus like my primary care, the charts are going to be different. And that was one of the things that I got really hung up on. So I created this so that I could create my own pain chart, my own symptom chart, make my own descriptors, and then show that to them. And it was really helpful once I figured out how to communicate that to the doctors so that they could help me, they could help understand, or it helped them, understand what I was experiencing. So then I have my health page where it's just kind of an overall, my diagnosis, symptoms and pain, medications and supplements. This is actually to help me remember, and also in case my husband or my loved one needs to review this, because there's a lot going on. I have family history. There are some family history things that I consistently forget what they're called, who had what. So I have this. I always forget what year I had some surgeries. And then I have a diagnosis page for the various diagnoses and how to track them, because some of them I was diagnosed and then it was taken back because we realized it was something different. Then I have my medical team. That is obviously a little bit self-explanatory, but it's also so that a loved one can access this if they need to, and they can't access like my online charts and stuff because I have a pretty robust medical team. And then I made an appointments calendar, I guess, to track my appointments and when I went and saw who last. Now, someone with a very complicated situation, I even laughed at this. Like, I go to the doctor way many, like more times than there's slots. You can just print out a second page or write on the back. But some people don't go to the doctor as much as some of us other people. So I figured this was like a good happy medium, and we can, you know, just print another one out if need be on a busy month. So then this is today's appointment. Now you do get like the printout from your doctor, but there were things that I wanted to make sure that I didn't forget. And I would make notes like in my phone app, but then I also started to carry a binder. And so I decided to make a page specifically for this so that the doctor understood like what we were going to go over. And also I didn't forget anything and I could make notes. There's action steps. And these are also prompts so that I can remember how to specifically talk to the doctor when I'm in the appointment. Like, what are the action steps that we're going to take towards this symptom? What are the action steps we're going to take with this blood test result? And it was really very helpful when I wrote it out myself. So then I have a symptom and pain tracker. When I have a new symptom or pain situation, I like to track what's going on so that I can see if it's related to something, if it's something that's here to stay, like if it's just an injury that happens to like normal people. I also have a medicine tracker. My medicine cabinet, unfortunately, is robust, and I forgot, like I was in a doctor's appointment with the medical assistant, and she asked if I was still taking something. I said I wasn't sure, and she really got on me about, remembering what I have and everything. So I made this. I also wanted to list out the prices so that I could get a better understanding of like what we're spending a month so that we can adjust our HSA as needed. I also take a lot of supplements. So there I wanted to track supplements. I do purchase them in various sites. So I wanted to remember where those were, because there is this one story where I went into Whole Foods. I had forgotten what I was taking to help with cognitive and like memory function. And I literally had to go up to the girl and say, hey, I take this supplement to help with brain function and memory function, and I can't remember what it is. Can you help me figure this out? And she thought I was joking. And I was like, no, I am so serious. And so she obviously saw like the comedy in the fact that I stopped taking my cognitive supplement and therefore was having a hard time remembering what it was. So this is absolutely comes in handy for things like that. I have a doctor's appointment tracker, again, just so I can like open it up and see. This is more chronological, like this doctor and like which, I want kind of one page per doctor is really what I want to do with this. I have a blood pressure tracker because that is a situation that I am dealing with. Food tracker. Depending, there's kind of no rhyme or reason, but I do have food sensitivities. And so this is very helpful to, in the moment, remember like, okay, yes, I did react to that in like March, and now it's August and I'm reacting to it again. So it's just one of those fun things to deal with. Blood sugar tracker. This is a whole nother thing. Those that deal with it know. Lab results. This is very helpful. I see several doctors that request labs, and unfortunately they're not on the same medical communication systems. So this is very helpful. Some doctors will accept like my notes that I've taken, and then some will like to double check and just confirm and have me like pull up the other communication system to check, and then they're able to write prescriptions off of that. I have a mood tracker. This was very helpful with certain situations that I was dealing with. And yeah, I mean, it's just self-explanatory. And then I made some notes pages in case you don't have a like lined paper that you can do. You can just print these out and use these for notes. And then I created 2 different calendar systems. Obviously, here is the month view. And then I did a week view. And this is like the workhorse of the planner. But first of all, the month view, when there's nothing big going on, significant, I will write down doctor's appointments, med changes, when I've taken specific medications, if I've stopped something, any significant like good days or bad days I had will go on here. And then I can just refer to this. And then I will also take anything significant that I write in the weeks and put it on here so that I can just pull this up if necessary in the doctor's office, or I can track, anyway, like track different like cycles of situations. I will put that all here so I can look at it really easily. But then I also created this very robust weekly schedule. And I wanted to go over this. This is way too much information to keep up with if you are trying to. I don't want you to look at this and think you have to fill out every section of this planner. It's not even really a planner. It's a documentation note. So I created 1 page for each month. So you can print out as many as you need of this. And then you always have this side to go ahead and print for the corresponding months, or however many months there are in, or however many weeks there are in the month. So let's look at this left side first. Oh, hold on a second. This one had a, this one had a typo. I changed the font at the last second and didn't notice that. So let me pull the other ones out. Okay, these are the ones that are actually reprinted and fixed. But okay, let's go back to looking at this left side. So we have the day or the month, and then you can fill in the dates, and then your main goal for the week. So there are weeks where, you know, you're only getting one thing done. You have to look, is it going to be paying the bills? Is it going to be attending an event? What is the main thing that you need to do this week? Is it a house project, just getting the laundry done, doing the bed sheets, like whatever it is, put that there. And then we have the focus of the week. If, you know, if there's something that, you know, if you're having a bad week or whatever, obviously if you're having a decent week, you can fill all of these out. But if you're having a bad week, you know, maybe you're focusing on your nutrition, maybe you're focusing on your sleep and rest, maybe you're trialing a new medication. Maybe like when my kids were in sports, like my main focus for several weeks would just be to make it to that game. And then there's to-dos, and then we have a habit tracker. And then if you look at each, it's a vertical layout. So every day goes down. And so there's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then you have my one thing. So again, what is that one thing that you need to get done that day? Or what is the one thing that you did that day? Then, you know, your top 3 things if you're feeling pretty good. And then there's a habit tracker for your meds. Did you take your meds? AM, noon, evening, or night. And then you can track what you've eaten, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and your snacks. And then if you've had your hydration. Then I wrote out a section for symptoms and activity. So here you can jot down symptoms as they show up and you can scale them. And then also activity. There are days where I will clean the whole house. I need to write that down because that's a great energy day. And then how long did it take me? Did it take me an hour and a half? Did it take me 3 hours? So that I know, wow, that's great. That was a really active day. And then I also have blood pressure, blood sugar, and heart rate trackers down here. Because depending on what's going on, that was something that I needed to track, and it's very easy to have all of this on one page. The reason I chose to make this into an 8.5 by 11 was because if I'm not feeling well, I need to be able to just have the space to write in here. When it was an A5, you have to be very like precise about what you're writing and how small. And since this is really more of a documentation thing than a planner, I realized like that is not going to be conducive to the situation that I created this for. So let's go ahead and look at the other side. This is the other side. It covers Thursday through Sunday. And again, it's just the same thing with the My One Thing, my top 3, but you know, it fills in the whole page. So let's go ahead and put all this together. Okay, I had to move some things around so I could open this up. This is a Martha Stewart folio. And the reason I picked it out is because it's very thick and hard. So a lot of the folios that I prefer are the plastic. They're a little bit like thinner and not as sturdy. I picked this out because number one, if I'm laying in bed, I have a hard surface. And then also if I'm sitting at the doctor's on the patient table, I have a surface to write on. It has a pen loop and a place to put papers. And I also went on Amazon and I purchased some folders, plastic folders, so that I could put I could print out, put notes in here. If I need to, I can print out test results. So I'm gonna go ahead and put those in. And I'm intentionally putting them in the front to protect the paper. And if anyone is wondering, I use the Happy Planner punch to do this, and it does line up great with the Martha Stewart. I also purchased the Martha Stewart dividers, and I am going to go ahead and put these in. After the first page, I'm going to go ahead and put all of my monthly views, or after the first tab, I should say. And then after the second tab, I'm going to put the weekly view. Okay, there we go. I think it's funny that I didn't realize I could put all of these in and then just add these as I was turning the pages. You can take these 2 pages and glue them together if you'd like. I'll show you what I use. I actually use the Tombow permanent adhesive, and it's a tape, so you just tape where you'd like, and then you just lay the paper down, and it will connect really easily. But the way I'm doing this is very inexpensive. It fits exactly what I wish I had when I was going through this like diagnostic period and trying to find doctors that would help me out. And now I'm ready. This sounds great, crazy, but like I'm ready for my next flare. I'm ready for the next thing that's gonna pop up and come out of nowhere. And this just makes me feel very organized, very confident in the information that I'm gathering and presenting to the doctors. And it really is going to like raise my chronic illness experience, which, you know, it's a bummer that we have to deal with this, but this is it. And I love that we have a tool to help us be the best patient, best advocate for ourselves. And also this really does help out your loved ones when they need to kind of pick up the pieces and figure things out. There you are. This will be listed in the shop, and thank you so much. See you next time.